The long-awaited moment for many Bible prophecy enthusiasts has arrived. After the Second Temple's destruction in AD 70, Jerusalem has been without a temple. Finally, however, there's exciting news that the construction of the Third Temple is underway. According to biblical prophecies, the temple's rebuilding is crucial for end-time sacrifices to cease. This has led to speculation that the Third Temple must be erected before this event can occur. Join us in this video as we delve into the latest announcement about constructing the Third Temple in Jerusalem. According to some believers in the Bible, rebuilding the temple in Israel is a crucial part of fulfilling God's promises to the Jewish people. Jeremiah's book mentions that a righteous descendant of David, known as the Messiah, will bring justice and righteousness to the earth. This passage also talks about Judah's salvation and Jerusalem's safety. Finally, it states that David's lineage will always have someone sitting on the throne of Israel, and the Levitical priests will continue to offer sacrifices. This passage refers to a future time called the Messianic Age, when all of Israel will be saved and returned to the land of Israel. During this period, the Messiah will rule from Jerusalem, and the temple and its Levitical priesthood will be restored. Is there any indication today that preparations are being made to construct a third temple in Israel? Since 1987, the temple movement has been making slow progress in preparing for the rebuilding of the Third Temple. While many Jews in Israel and around the world are not religious, Orthodox Jews believe that only those who follow strict religious practices should be involved in this spiritual work. Therefore, the Orthodox Jewish community has revived the Sanhedrin, a religious body responsible for the legal aspects of the temple, and they aim to rebuild it correctly. For Orthodox Jews, rebuilding the temple is crucial because they believe it is connected to the world's redemption. Therefore, they argue that the temple must be rebuilt before true redemption can occur. Gershon Salomon, the director of the Temple Mount Faithful organization, has been actively working to prepare Israeli society for the rebuilding of the temple. His organization has organized demonstrations at the temple site, laid a cornerstone for the Third Temple, and created various temple-related utensils. Salomon strongly believes that the Temple Mount should be at the center of Israeli life, stating that it is essential for the completion of the redemption of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. However, some religious Jews don't support rebuilding the temple due to their spiritualized thinking and diaspora mentality. They believe the current situation on the Temple Mount, with Muslims in control, is acceptable. In contrast, Jewish leaders in the temple movement argue that the absence of the divine presence hinders the Jewish people from reaching their spiritual potential. They emphasize the connection between the temple and spiritual attainment. Rabbi Chaim Richman, from the Temple Institute, asserts that rebuilding the temple is essential for solving both global and Jewish issues. To Orthodox Jews, restoration is the key to resolution. A new Jewish temple? The rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem is a topic that sparks controversy and debate. Yet while Israel's claims to the Temple Mount face opposition, recent developments suggest progress towards realizing this ambitious goal. Contrary to the denial of a Jewish temple ever existing, archaeological discoveries shed light on its historical significance. British archaeologist Robert Hamilton's report, dating back to 1927, documented excavations beneath the Al-Aqsa Mosque's foundations. He uncovered a Jewish mikveh, a ritual pool used for purification, indicating the presence of Jewish rituals linked to the Second Temple. Initially hidden due to embarrassment, this finding now supports the belief that the ancient temple stood on the modern Temple Mount. Preparations for the temple service efforts are underway to reinstate the future temple service. The Sanhedrin, a Jewish religious council, has initiated projects aligned with this objective. Planting the biblical temple forest aims to provide agricultural resources for the Third Temple. Rabbi Hillel Weiss explains that sacrifices were not limited to animals. Many involved plants grown in Israel. This forest connects the land and the restoration of the red heifer. The red heifer holds significance for purifying Jews to enable their service in the temple. To address this requirement, Rabbi Richman and the Temple Institute are involved in a project to restore the sacred red heifer to Israel. Due to specific criteria, such as never having worn a yoke and being born in the land of Israel, a red heifer cannot be transported. Instead, through scientific advancements, frozen embryos of red Angus cattle from North America are implanted into Israeli domestic cattle, combining ancient religious texts with modern science. The Sanhedrin and the Temple movement conduct reenactments of temple ceremonies to train individuals from the priestly class known as Kohanim. This training involves specialized education on priestly duties, the use of ritual vessels crafted for the Third Temple, and practice on a disassemblable altar of burnt offerings. This unique altar design allows for quick reassembly on the original Mount Moriah site when the time is right, ensuring the resumption of sacrificial service without delay. The road to rebuilding the temple is not without obstacles. Israel's contested ownership of the Temple Mount, the ban on Jewish prayer at the site, and opposition from various groups pose significant challenges. However, for Orthodox Jews committed to this endeavor, rebuilding the temple represents the ultimate solution to the world's problems and the challenges faced by the Jewish people. It remains a complex and sensitive issue that continues to evoke passionate discussions. Rediscovery of biblical crimson. The Temple Institute has made another significant rediscovery by reviving the science of producing biblical crimson dye. This dye played a crucial role in the garments of the high priest and the massive curtain known as the parashe, which separated the Holy of Holies from the holy place in the temple. It was also an ingredient mixed with the ashes of the red heifer. Professor Zohar Amar of Bar Ilan University found that the eggs of the Tola'at Shani, a crimson worm found in modern Israel, could produce this dye. Political action for Jewish access. While preparations for rebuilding the temple continue, it is widely understood that political action is necessary to reverse the current control of the Temple Mount by Muslims and allow Jewish access. There are indications that progress in this regard may be underway. In its ruling opinion on the issue of the works on the Temple Mount, Israel's Supreme Court acknowledged the complexity and sensitivity of the situation. The court stated, "The reality on the Temple Mount is by no means simple. It is extremely delicate and complicated. This is one of those cases in which a judicial ruling is not the reasonable way to decide the dispute, and a decision of this kind goes beyond the boundaries of the law." The court emphasized that the political echelon, not the judiciary, must address the historical call that the Temple Mount is ours. In other words, resolving this matter requires political rather than legal action. Prophecy and the Antichrist. According to biblical prophecies, including Daniel 9:27, the rebuilding of the Third Temple is linked to a future political leader known as the Antichrist in the book of Revelation. It is believed that this leader will make a deceptive covenant with Jewish leaders, paving the way for the reconstruction of the temple. But how will this happen? To address the complex situation surrounding the Temple Mount, one possibility suggested in an academic book is the involvement of representatives from the international community. The concept of the heritage of humankind highlights the international interest in these sites. Mediators and guarantors, potentially from organizations like the United Nations, UNESCO, or regional powers such as the Arab League, NATO, and interested states like the US, the EU, and Russia, could play a crucial role. Establishing a proposed legal regime for the Temple Mount would require interfaith cooperation among religious leaders from the region. Additionally, international religious leaders could serve as mediators to facilitate the process. This collaboration of religious figures from various backgrounds could help navigate the complexities and sensitivities associated with the Temple Mount. For those who study biblical prophecy, it is believed that both political and religious leaders will follow the Antichrist. Consequently, the proposal mentioned above aligns with this understanding, suggesting that a scenario involving international mediation and the involvement of political and religious figures is a potential reality. So what do you think of the building of the Third Temple in Jerusalem? Comment below and subscribe for more such videos.